Doesn't make sense, so it's not supposed to be the thing. Natural selection of this obsession. Being human must return. Remember all of our time. I thought reminding me of how lonely I am. I don't know where to go. What's up, everybody? This is Brady. Welcome back to the Low Life Podcast. That was a new song from some friends' band here in Oklahoma City. They're called OTM, and that was the first single off their upcoming EP, and I wanted to play the full song. I didn't want to just make an intro because they're a new band, and I really dig the track. It's just got this really blackened hardcore / blackened like metalcore, early 2000s metalcore vibe, and it's really dope. They're really good friends of mine, and I just wanted to kind of give them a little shout out there. So shout out to them. That song is called WCBP. I don't know what that stands for. I haven't asked them, but if you want to know, you can ask them. But their band's called OTM. They haven't been a band for a super long time, but they just got an EP out, and I'm actually really impressed with the quality. It sounds really good, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see them coming up pretty soon. They're on that show that I've mentioned a couple times now. I'll put up the flyer again and stuff. But really dope. You should definitely go check them out. Go check out the rest of their EP. I'm pretty sure they posted all of that too. Really good stuff. Really heavy and dark, and just I really like that. Really like that vibe. That just heavy blackened vibe it's a really popular thing in hardcore music right now. Just really dark, angry vibe. So they've only put out 2 songs. They haven't put out the full EP, but they actually have a show coming up at this new venue called the Mothership Connection. I don't know anything about it. I don't know who runs it, but it's with a pretty cool band called Sanction. And then a couple other locals called Peace of Mind and Shame here from Oklahoma City. Both all incredibly heavy bands, super talented. If you like hardcore, if you like heavy, angry music, check it out. I'll put a flyer up for that too. Really just fucking makes you want to fight somebody, fucking beat somebody's ass music. Just super dope. So, anyway, on to shows and meets. I'm starting to kind of get like a format of how I want to do the show. I'll probably talk about a new song at the beginning if I feature a song, and then I'm going to talk about shows and car meets, and I'll kind of give you what's coming up. I'll try not to talk about a show more than 2 or 3 times, but I'm going to talk about some shows, talk about some meets, and then I'll kind of go on from there into my next segments. I'm going to try to have segments that I do every week. You know, if I don't have anything to contribute to it, then I probably won't. But anyway, coming up this time, there's a band that I really like called Bad Bad Hats. They are an indie rock band, very soft, very just super chill, good vibes music. I've seen them once before here in the city, and they are amazing. They're from Minnesota, and they are going to be here again coming up this Sunday at 89th Street Collective. And it's only like $10 to get in. It's just them and a couple locals, but they're really good. And I'm going to be at that this weekend with my girlfriend. So if you want to go to that, go check them out. Like I said, they're very indie rock, very mellow. They have a female singer, and she's just really good. She's really funny too. Like, she'll say a bunch of funny stuff live, just kind of quirky stuff. So that's definitely a show for you to check out. And then also coming up pretty soon, I think in like 2 weeks. Let me double check this. Yeah, September 17th at Lake Hefner here in Oklahoma City is the Monday meet. There is a girl here from Oklahoma City. Her name's Cassie Mara. Shout out to you. She does a meet every Monday, or like one Monday out of every month at the lake. and she has like a food truck, and she has a taco truck come, and the food truck has hot dogs and nachos and like snow cones and stuff, and the taco truck has super good tacos, and they come, and a bunch of people come in their cars, import cars, slam trucks. There's muscle car guys there sometimes, just everything, and it's just a really just big hangout at the lake out by the docks. It's a lot of fun. I've gone to a bunch of them. I always try to get some new people out to them because it's just cool, just hanging out, eating food, looking at cars. I mean, what more can you ask? And probably good weather. You're right there by the lake. So yeah, Monday, September 17th at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Um, if you like cars, you like food, come hang. It'll be a good time. Then this Saturday is the Fun Run Drift event in Stroud. I mentioned it last week, posted the flyer. I won't post a flyer again unless you, yeah, I probably will just in case. That's this week. And then also is the stance meet this Saturday as well at 7 p.m. that I mentioned I'll be at, and I will be at that as well. So if you like I said, if you like cars and hanging out, come find me, come chill. It's always a good time, and I haven't been to a stance meet in maybe a month or so, so that should be a lot of fun. Maybe see some people I haven't seen in a while. And that's all I got for shows this week. Yeah, I should be at all of those things. The Monday meet, the Bad Bad Hat show. Oh, I won't be at the Drift event. I'm not going to Stroud this weekend, but if you should go if you like drifting and you've never been. Highly recommend you go and check it out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then the stance meet I will definitely be at, so be on the lookout for those things. Go to those things, hang out. Stance meet is free, just show up. The Monday meet is free, just show up and hang out. You don't gotta pay money or anything. Just come hang. So anyway, so on to my next segment that I'm kind of starting because it's kind of become a thing in the last couple podcasts is I'm gonna do this week's throwback jams. So this week I have these are music that I used to listen to, older music, either from my childhood, from the 90s, from when I was in high school, just old music in general, whatever you want to call it. These are my throwback jams. So this week, I don't even know how I found it again or whatever, but there's a band I used to listen to in high school called Abandon All Ships. And when they first came out, they were kind of cheesy. It was of that like 2008 to 2010 era scene metalcore bands that like of the time they were just trying to be really innovative, but then all of them started trying to do the same thing, and it ended up not being innovative anymore. But it's like this weird mix of really heavy music with really pretty singing with what's the word for it, with like I don't know, it just got a lot of synths and a lot of EDM dancey sounds, and the vocals are very auto tuned, and it's a weird mix of the two, and you're like, how does like dance EDM singing go like with like heavy screaming? But they do it, and they do it so flawlessly. Like all four of their albums. They've got three full length albums and like an EP, I think, like from way back in the day, and they're all so good. And I hadn't listened to them forever, and I was like, man. So I've been listening to a lot of that band. All three of their full length albums, super good. You should definitely check them out. One of my old school favorites. I really dig them. And then another band that I listened to is more of a childhood band, like late 90s, early 2000s rock band called Incubus. And now I was never super huge into them when I was a kid, but I always remember hearing their music on the radio. They've got 5 or 6 pretty popular songs that are, pretty commonly played on the radio, like on the Cat or the Brew, some local radio stations here. And so, really been listening to that. I love the song Drive. I really love the song Pardon Me off their 99 album. And then off of their 2001 album, I really like Nice to Know You and Wish You Were Here. Love those songs. And then off their 2006 album, the song Dig. I those are like all of my favorite songs by them. I've been like listening. I listened to Dig like 5 times in a row the other day because I just kind of forgot how good it was and how good of a band they are. They're actually still a band, still making albums, still touring. I believe in. It's one of those bands that's like you kind of forget about until you're, oh yeah, that's a band, and then you're, man, they were always really good. So if you like, I can't even describe to you what they're like. They're very different for their time and their genre and stuff. But they're really chill and they've got good vibes. And you should go listen to Incubus for sure if you like that 2000s rock era music. So those are my two throwback bands, throwback jams that I've been listening to. You know, if either of those sound like something you want to listen to, go check them out. Tell me what you think. Comment on the video. Send me a message. Comment on a link, whatever, and be like, yo, that was tight, or yo, you think Incubus is good, you're whack. I don't care. Give me your thoughts, give me your feedback. And so these are my new jams. These are current jams that have recently came out or are about to come out or whatever. So this one's I say it's a new jam. It came out last year, but that's pretty new for me. If it's a new album that I haven't gone and listened to yet, it's still new to me. So there's a band called Silverstein, and I've never super been into them. They have always been on my radar. I've always seen them on shows, on tours with huge bands that I know, and I know a couple of their songs. I've just never really super got into them, but they just put out a new album called Retrograde, and I really, really like it. And I've gone back and listened to their some old albums, and this album just has a way different tone and vibe to it that I'm really, really dig. It's the actual song Retrograde on that album's like the first song on the album, and I listened to that song like 10 times in a row the other day. I was like, it's just the guitar riff is so dope, and it really reminded me of like some old school like 2012 metalcore riffs, which you say that's old school 6 years ago, but you know, not a lot of bands sound like they did 6 years ago. So really, really, just, it was just so good. It was like it was kind of over. I was kind of overwhelmed. I was like, wow, I actually really dig this. I kind of went into it with low expectations and came out kind of blown away about how really good it was. And it's funny because I listened to a podcast called The Lead Singer Syndrome. Shout out to that podcast. Don't know if you ever listened to it. It's hosted by Shane, the vocalist of Silverstein. And it's funny because I've listened to that podcast for like 2 years and I've never really gone and listened to a whole lot of Silverstein music. But I really, really like that album. And I'd say go back and listen to their summer stuff, their older stuff, but it doesn't really compare to this. But if you like the old mid to late 2000s emo rock music, the like Hawthorne Heights, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, those kind of bands, and I feel like you will really like their old stuff. Their new stuff's a little heavier, so that's an album I've been jamming. Still haven't listened to the whole thing, but I'm kind of working on it. And then another album, I literally just downloaded it like last night. I forgot it came out. There's a band that I really dig, a hardcore band. I actually haven't got to see them yet. They're called Bruise. They're from Indiana. They're a hardcore band. They're actually, I have some friends in a band here called Sledge from Oklahoma City that are about to go on tour with them, if not, have already started it. And Bruise just put out a new album called Grief Ritual. I've gotten a couple tracks in. It's really heavy. They're really heavy. They're really solid. They've actually put out some music videos too. They're just super solid band. I really want to catch them. Hopefully they come here soon. I need to check on that tour. If they do come here, I'll be telling you guys. So yeah, I need to get through more of that album. I've only got a couple of tracks in, but so far I'm super into it. And it's an actual full length. I think they've only put out EPs before this, so and actually, the way that I even got reminded is I like to go to the metal section on iTunes, on Apple Music, and like check out the latest releases. That's actually how I find some bands sometimes. I'm like, ooh, that looks like that'd be good, and listen to it. And Bruise was actually in there on iTunes, like in the recent releases in the metal section, which I was actually really stoked about because that's pretty good for them. So, that's good exposure. People see that and check it out. So go check that out. Bruise, Grief Ritual. Super dope album so far. Check it out. Tell me what you think. Tell me, yeah, it's heavy, or tell me that's weak. You're a pussy. No, I'm just kidding. Don't say that. Anyway, so lately I've been just kind of working on my cars, working on my daily, which, if you don't know what a daily is, it's a car you drive every day. And you're like, wasn't everybody's car daily? No, not necessarily. Like me, I have two cars. I have my show car, my car I only take to meets and only drive on the weekends, and then I have my daily. My daily is a 2000 Subaru Outback that I bought for like $700 from a friend. It barely ran when I got it. They thought it was like completely blown, like motor blown, but really it just needed like a battery and an alternator, which luckily I work at a parts store, so it didn't really cost me a whole lot to get it running again. And then I've just been putting in new parts and stuff over the last few months because it's pretty old. It's got a hell of a lot of miles on it. It's like 237,000 miles on it right now, which you're thinking, why are you driving that? That sounds terrible. But that, dude, this old Subaru is a trooper. It's so reliable, and I've only been replacing stuff to make it last even longer and making sure it's running good and all that. And I've really been working on that a lot lately, and there's a lot more stuff I want to fix on it. But I've been really having like a lot of fun learning how to do stuff and fix stuff on my own. Even little stuff like I changed a fuel filter, which if you're a car guy, you're like, that's not that hard. But I'd never really done it before, and it wasn't hard, but it was a lot of fun learning how to do it. And I love replacing old broken parts and seeing new ones go on and seeing the difference that it makes on the car. Like, oh wow, the car's running so much better now. It really needed that part. Or learning that you didn't need that part and it didn't make a difference. So in this case, it needed it. The fuel filter that I pulled out of this must have been in here forever because pouring the gas out of the filter, it was just like coming out like this brown color, and I was like, oh, okay, it needed the filter. So hopefully that'll make my gas mileage better, make the car run better, maybe make the fuel pump not run as hard. So really stoked on that. Actually, sitting at work today, I made a full list of all these things I want to buy for this car, like just to replace, just that it needs, and some that it doesn't need. I really need to get tires for it, but so that's pretty much what I've been doing, just hanging out, working on my cars, chilling. So that's what I did over my long weekend. Hope everybody else had a pretty good Labor Day weekend. Hope you got off. Hope you had fun. Got to hang out with your family, relax. And then, let's see, I haven't really done anything on my other car, my Tiburon. I've got some parts ordered for it though. I did finally order my harnesses that told you I've been putting off forever. I ordered them. They will be here Friday. I'm probably gonna test fit them, see what they look like, even though I don't have the harness bar ordered yet. Kind of wait. I'm gonna probably order that next paycheck. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to be frugal with my money, but so I've got something. So that's ordered, and still doing car stuff. But in other news, if you pay attention to Facebook literally at all, there's no way you haven't heard about this. Eminem, the one of the greatest rappers of all time, put out a surprise album last week or this past weekend called Kamikaze. And man, did he upset some people. So he is made it pretty obvious that his last album didn't do well and people didn't like it and thought it was trash. And he was like, oh, okay, well, let me drop this little bit of fire on you. And he called out just about every popular rapper in the game right now. Like anybody who's trending and famous, whether it be a mumble rapper or not, he put it out there and he called out some people that were, he gave a shout out to them, but then there's some people he pretty much made fun of and called them whack. And I mean, the list is long, Lil Pump, Drake, MGK, Hobson, Logic, Lucas Joyner, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, like all these guys, and not all of them those were bad, not all of those were good, but those are like a bunch of the people that he gave a shout out to on this album, whether it be negative or positive. The big one that he called out that a lot of people, well, I guess not even a lot of people, just took it the wrong way is MGK. And you've already actually heard my thoughts on this podcast about MGK, funny enough. But he didn't like it. And funny enough, Eminem didn't really go in all that hard on him, if he even really said anything other than his name. But MGK put out a full diss track, like a full song talking shit on Eminem, saying he's old and nobody likes him and all this crap, which there's a lot of young people who are like, oh, MGK killed him, Eminem's old and whack, but I'm on the other side of the fence. I grew up listening to Eminem. I had multiple albums from him. I had Curtain Call and I listened to it like nonstop with my dad all the time. I still have a physical copy. I still listen to him a lot. And so I was like, fuck MGK. Like, that dude is whack. I've never really cared about his music. Um, I don't know. I just don't like the vibes that he puts out. He's put out a couple songs that are, catchy or popular or whatever. And I get that he's popular, but if Eminem puts out a diss track back to him, MGK is going to get destroyed. Like, there's no way that MGK can out rap and outright lyrics past Eminem. There's no way. Eminem is like one of the most, like the top lyrical genius, lyrical writer, like on the planet. He's insane. And so, like, if MGK, if Eminem actually decides to like write a diss track back, which I really hope he does, because obviously dissing so many people on the album, he's gonna come back. He's gonna expect some people to put some shit back out. I'm hoping he writes like the most fire diss track of all time. I really do. So I guess only time will tell. Who knows? So, but it really was cool to see. He did give a positive shout out to Lucas Joyner, Kendrick Lamar, Hobson, Logic. He didn't actually trash talk any of those guys. He shouted them out, like a couple of them, a couple times. And Lucas Joyner is even on a song on the album, so obviously Eminem has a lot of love for that dude. And he's kind of an up and coming dude, just getting big. So that's cool. And I like the fact that one of the songs Eminem said, "Don't like." He pretty much said, "Don't talk to me about the culture," and mentioned a bunch of people that he inspired, which was really cool. He was like, "Look, I know about the culture. I pay attention. You don't need to tell me about the culture. Like I'm still here. I'm still aware of what's going on," which I think is really cool. And he actually did mention Hobson, and Hobson actually put out a react video saying, "Holy shit, I can't believe Eminem said my name in a song. Like, I didn't think Eminem even knew who I was, and he mentioned me in one of his songs. Like, holy shit, I gotta go call my mom." I thought that was really funny. Hobson's a really good artist too, so that was really funny to see. But if you haven't listened to any of Eminem's album, I don't love all of it. I'm gonna be honest. He always, I feel like a lot of his albums have some good songs and then some silly songs. But The Ringer is the first track on that album, and it's like 5 minutes long, but it's just him dissing everybody he can and saying pretty much, "You ain't gonna fuck with me," blah blah blah. It's long, but it's so good, and there's so many slams and so many good hooks and so many punchlines in there. I really really like it. The next song is The Greatest. It was okay. I don't super remember it. He did a song called Lucky You. That's the one with Joyner Lucas in it. Definitely uh, recommend that song. It was really good. It was like a from his point of view, from Lucas' point of view. Kind of cool. He did a song called Kamikaze, another like angry, don't come after me kind of song. He did a song called Fall, which again, he calls out some people. He calls out other white rappers. He calls out Drake for having a ghostwriter. It's really, really solid. And then I think that, and then he has a song called Kamikaze. I think I said that. Some of the other ones, there's a couple like silly ones in there that weren't amazing, but I think this is a pretty big step up from his last album. I think he's kind of showing, look, I'm still a part of the culture. I've not gone anywhere. I don't care that I'm the old guy. Like, I'm still here. I'm still number one. And I love it. I love it. And I'm glad that people are talking about him again. I'm glad that people are talking about diss tracks and shit again. I think that's a really cool part of hip hop culture. And I'm kind of hoping some other people want to diss him and he comes back and forth. I think that'll be really cool to see. And just, I don't know, man. There's a lot of love for Eminem, man. I just really, really big part of my childhood. It's just really dope to see him back again and calling out people and pretty much saying what a lot of the old guys of hip hop were saying. Like, they don't like this new style of hip hop, this young, just mumbling, talking about drugs and lean and cars and shit. Like, that's whatever, if that's what you're into and that's your aspirations in life, I guess. But I like the people that he likes, like Hobson and Logic and J. Cole. They don't rap about all the money and the bitches and the crack they sell in their mama's house or whatever the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, they talk about real shit, and that's what people connect with. If they're singing and talking about and rapping about something that you can relate to, it's so much better for you. Like, how can you relate to buying drugs and having a lot of money? Like, you can't. So why do you even like listening to that? I mean, I don't get it. And mumble rap on top of that. They're just mumbling words. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe I'm an old man even though I'm not, but that's just my opinion on like where rap is at right now. There's like two sides of it, and my lesser favorite of the sides is honestly the more popular side of it right now. But it's 2018. By the time 2020 rolls around, there could be a whole change. I mean, that's just kind of how time goes. So only time can tell where all of this whole rap culture will go. I guess we'll see. But I think that's all I've got for this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing it. If you shared it, give me feedback. Um, Shout out to my friends and Astounding C for sharing it last week. I liked playing their music, and I'm glad they liked it, and they shared it for me on Facebook and stuff. So, again, shout out to OTM for sending me their new single to play on here. I really dig it. Hope you guys dug it too. And that's going to be it this week. My name's Brady. This has been the Low Life Podcast. Peace.